pitch by pitch and winning those pitches. But then if you're BYU, what you're looking to do is come out here tonight against Sarah Willis and jump on pitches early. You know that she's very consistent and dominant in the zone, so you got to be aggressive from the very first pitch of every at-bat.
There you see the Knights defense. Aubrey Evans back in the starting lineup after missing the last 4 games. And we're set to go. Knights and Cougars for the first time ever. And the first pitch is low for a ball. 1-0 the count. Of course, both of these programs have had a lot of success. As Willis looks like there's a bit of an equipment issue here. Both moving into the Big 12. UCF, of course, coming over from the American. Interestingly, both of these programs used to making moves in conference, since UCF, of course, has played in the ASUN, CUSA, and the American. BYU, of course, is coming from the West Coast Conference, as they've been playing there, as well as they've spent time in the Mountain West and the WAC throughout their last 20-plus years. So another new conference added for both of these programs. The biggest, most challenging one to date. The 1-0 is low. 2-0 the count to Akbayani. BYU got a midweek win over Utah Tech on Tuesday, coming in at 21-13, 48 in the RPI. Marquee wins over Oklahoma State and Ole Miss. 2-0. There's a strike. It's 2-1 to count.
And this is where Sarah Willis has been so dominant, just able to mix in that changeup in any count. A lot of confidence in that pitch alone. And we're going to see her lean into that a lot here this evening.
2-1 pitch. That's called a ball. 3-1 now the count. Brandon Bloom is the home plate umpire with Todrick Davis at first, Matt Johnson at third.
And that pitch just missing a little up in the zone. That's really good plate discipline in the box for Agbayani.
The 3-1 pitch from Willis. And that's a strike, and the count is 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Akbayani, who's 22nd in the country in on-base percentage. Hit a tying home run in the bottom of the 7th against Houston in that wild game on Friday night, where BYU came from an 8-run deficit to win 17-15. And she gets on a walk from, but the ball is a wild pitch, ricochets to Griffin. Akbayani will take second. A wild start here for Willis.
And that piece of hitting right there from Bejarano is borderline just as good. Good job moving the base runner over an additional 60 feet, and that is all you can ask for from your 2-hole, who's clutch time and time again.
Now Violet Zavatnik, the senior, hitting .423, 7 homers, 26 RBI, steps in. You can make the case she's been one of the faces of this program. Recently was out of the lineup. Missed 8 games due to a concussion, but got back. A big, big bat. One of the nation's best. Stepping in here. 26th in the country is Violet Zavatnik. Most of the on-base, 13th in on-base percentage. She takes an off-speed pitch there for a strike. 39th in slugging, 31st in batting average this year in the nation for Violet Zavatnik. One ball, 1 strike to count. Willis. It's a strike and it's ahead of Zavatnik, 1-2. Bayani at third with 1 out. One-two pitch from Willis. Away, 2-2 the count. Of course, Willis's roles can start and also come in relief. We've seen that during Big 12 play. She came in relief on Tuesday against North Florida, pitched 4 innings, got the win when the Knights won the first game of a doubleheader, 11-4. Faced a very difficult strike zone, tight strike zone, quite frankly. There's a swing and a miss, and a strikeout for Willis of Zavatnik for the second out here in the first.
Sarah Willis is going to compliment her changeup with this nice rise ball up in the zone. Zavatnik falling victim to Willis, continues to climb the ladder. I love that location too, because even if she doesn't swing, I think that's a called strike right there, tip in the top of the zone. Say that's a tongue twister. Tip in the top of the zone.
Very well done. Hunter Ava, the hottest hitter on this Cougars line, maybe the hottest hitter in the Big 12, stepping in. It's a pop-up. Late start was Rowe, and that's going to drop in for a hit. And excuse me hitting, when you're hot, everything goes your way as Hunter Ava drives in the first run to give the Cougars a 1-0 lead.
Hey, sometimes when you're seeing the ball well, it doesn't really matter how you get the job done as long as you do. Hunter Ava, actually, I think is kind of what got her. That's a big one.
That's RBI number 46 for Hunter Ava. 7th in the country in RBIs coming into the weekend, or to the week. There's a strike. 0-1 the count to Lily Owens. Transfer, playing right field, transfer out of Lehigh for the sophomore from California. The 1 pitch from Willis. The strike, it's 0-2. There is not a cloud to be found in the sky there. It is bright. I wonder if that maybe played a role on that ball. That Rowe kind of took back, maybe thought maybe Alva got more of it than she did. 0-2. It's high, 1-2. Wind blowing a little bit from the to right field. Otherwise calm.
Yeah, but I think before the game starts, you know that, right? We had Janisha Rowe taking fly balls in pregame. I mean, she knows the direction of the wind. You can look up there, see the flag blowing. You get a good feel. It's really that first step.
One, 2. Corner just missed, 2-2.
And this is the beauty of getting ahead in the count. See Sarah Willis going to work off the plate right there. That one just going over the paint in the other batter's box. That's a good call from the umpire, but I like Willis challenging the strike zone.
2-2, this tie, 3-2. The count is full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. You're in the top of the first. Payoff pitch from Willis. And Owen slices it to right, will go foul. There's BYU with Gordon Eakin in his 22nd season as head coach over at third base. 16 NCAA tournament appearances under Coach Eakin as a head coach at BYU. There he is right there. Won 8 West Coast Conference championships, 5 Mountain West championships, a WAC title. Got to the Super Regionals in 2010 for the program. 3-2 count. Lined up the middle through, base hit for Lily Owens. And the Cougars now with 2 on, 2 out here in the first.
Lily Owens, great piece of hitting right there. Got behind early in the count, but fought her way back, taking that pitch. Changeup just left a little too up in the zone there. Sarah Willis needs to try to get that pitch down more towards the knees, but when you leave that around the belt buckle, glutton for punishment.
Maddie Udall at the plate with 2 on, 2 out. Udall having a great year, 349, 3 homers, 20 RBIs. It's been steady at third. Swings at the first pitch, fouls it back, 0-1 the count. There's Gordon Eakin. I mentioned that success, that Super Regional. They upset Texas, the Austin Regional. Beat East Carolina. Tony Paisley, the great Pirate pitcher. They lost in the Supers to Arizona, led by a freshman named Kinsey Fowler, who was pretty good in her own time. Now a commentator. 0-1. Strike, 0-2, and very good one as is. But, of course, this isn't, so nothing new for Gordon Eakin as far as changing conferences. And he talked about, he feels this is the best conference in college softball and learning how to respond. As the 0-2 pitch from Willis is missed for a ball, 1-2 the count.
Well, I think that's the consensus across the country is the Big 12 is so legit, Eric, just because of the talent of the teams from 1 through number 10 in the conference. I mean, the talent is so widespread, and really every single weekend feels like postseason, that regional, super regional type of feel, which gets these athletes and these coaches prepped in prime come May.
It's a slow grounder to third. Sierra Humphreys is there. Will throw to first in time to retire the side. Cougars get a run on a Hunter Ava RBI single. Knights line up offensively, hitting .308 as a team, ranked 50th in the country. Janisha Rowe will lead it off for the Knights, followed by Shannon Doherty at first base. Will bat second with Jaded Cody hitting third. Chloe Evans in the cleanup spot. Ashley Griffin, Stormy Kotzelnick, Aubrey Evans, Sierra Humphreys, and Sarah Willis and Jazz hitting ninth here against BYU's pitcher and the young freshman Kate Dolly getting the ball. And she gets the start here. First pitch coming to Rowe. Low for a ball. 1-0 the count.
And Dolly's going to come in the circle for the Cougars. Only a freshman, but going to have mostly down and curve. She'll mix in her screwball and her changeup too. The good variation velocity mix is going to try to keep these Knight hitters off balance.
Whatever just occurred in the first pitch, I'm not sure, but it's going to bring out an assistant here. Looks like Pete Meredith, the associate head coach, is going to come out here to have a word. Of course, BYU's had some injuries to their pitching staff they've had to deal with this season, Casey Korth among them, so they've kind of been a bit of a juggling act, and they've had to adjust their staff. Let's take a look at the last pitch here.
I'm not sure if...
That'd be illegal.
Possibly.
Wonder if that was a mechanical thing.
I was going to say, wasn't sure if she got kind of held up there with her pitch, but yeah, you might be right, Eric.
The 1-0 pitch to Rowe. He's a strike, 1-1 the count.
Take a look at your defense right now. Of course, they're going to be talking to Dally in the circle, but look how tight in they're playing Janisha Rowe, respecting the speed down the line that she has. But that's what's so crazy about the game right now. You also have your center fielder pulled in. Got Zavodnik playing that middle position, which I think is so crazy. You're going to see Zavodnik there.
Ball and 2 strikes to the senior Rowe, hitting .377, no homers, 6 RBIs. The Knights continue to tweak with the lineup as Rowe hits it down foul down to third baseline with, of course, head coach Sidney Ball Malone. And, of course, Becca Mueller in her first year as assistant at UCF, the hitting coach coming over from Cal. Down in the count, of ball and 2 strikes.
And actually, the infielder that's playing near second base is going to be Lily Owens, your right fielder.
So they bring an extra infielder. Throw to first is in time. Good catch by you, Alex, there with a ground out against Rowe. So Lily Owens came in defensively. And now goes back. Here's a look.
And I always joke that, you know, things in softball don't hold true with, like, the tie always goes to the runner. Well, here's one thing that does always hold true. It's always going to find the new girl, and that one lead off. And the girl that's in right field going to be playing in the dirt on that one.
Lily Owens officially gets the ground out.
Like, one thing, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily normal, but your center fielder will sometimes come in. But right there you have your right fielder completely changing views on sides of the field that she's covering.
So interesting. Well, I warned you, Alex. Gordon Eakins got a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
So is that a 9-3 in the scorebook, or what?
You know, I'll defer to Ryan Ledeek and the SIEs on how they score that, but sure. Shannon Doherty at the plate. Ahead 2-0 the count. Doherty hitting .253 of the homer and 20 RBIs. Super senior. Has been a part of 169 wins in her Knights career, her and Cody. 2-0. It's 3-0. So 3 balls, no strikes. As the Knights trying to get a look here. And the young freshman, Dolly. Doherty takes it to strike, 3-1. Normal defense for BYU this time
Right.
around.
Well, when you have a power hitter like Shannon Doherty, I would understand why. Doherty looking to get hot, moving throughout the lineup, finding her way now in the top part.
She takes a walk. Ball 4. So Doherty walks and gets on first base for Jada Cody. The senior coming to the plate, 376, 5 home runs, 20 RBIs for the super senior. Hit a home run in Tuesday's win over North Florida. And steps in. With Doherty at first. Jada takes a strike, 0-1 the count. Jada coming into this week tied for third all time in UCF softball history in base hits with 245 with former Knight Brianne Javier, former fellow Californian, played from 06 to 09, part of the UCF 08 CUSA championship team. Swings and misses. Kate Dolly not shy ahead of Cody, 0-2.
Dolly doing a great job challenging Cody around the zone, trying to get her out of her plan. A little bit of trickery, too, out of the hand. Dolly's going to have some good velo as well as just the ability to paint pitches wherever she wants.
0-2 is outside. Ball 1, 1-2 the count. First, Cody starting in left field. She started at third base. Catcher has started at first throughout her career and this season. Versatile. One-two pitch. Up high, 2-2.
Cody almost looking like she wanted to offer at that one as well. Definitely competitive in there, trying to get the job done. You see she's gonna take a bit of a lunge. Ooh, do I want it? Nope. Okay, I'm gonna hold. Love the approach though, because it's a yes until it's a no in the box. You never want to be caught off guard trying to swing. You'll definitely be late there.
She reaches for it to stay alive there, fouls it off. Like I said, there is not a cloud to be found. The sun is towards left field foul area. Very bright, Alex. Is that a factor at all to either the hitters or the defenders?
I don't think so. Not in this instance, just because of where it is. If it were in the eyes of the hitter, I would say absolutely. But I think we've all been there at some point in some game throughout our career. Sun just beaming in our face.
Cody deep in the hole, base hit. A one-out single for Jada Cody, who now stands alone at third place all-time in UCF softball history with career hit number 246, passing Brianne Javier.
Jada Cody just finding a way right there, gonna pepper that right in the 5-6 hole, does just enough to get it by Agbayani edged behind in the count early.
It's been a good week for Jada Cody. Maddie May, our third member of team, she'll have a story on Jada later on the week that Cody's had. Now Chloe Evans will come to the plate with 2 on, 1 out. Takes a strike, 0-1 to Chloe. Hitting .321, 3 homers, 23 RBI.
You're going to have the illegal pitch call.
Oh, good call. And now you're going to have the meeting here. Let's take a look.
And I'm wondering if it's the second hop at the end after the pitch or as the pitch is kind of being released. I think the timing of that is sort of hard to tell, but I just have such a hard time sometimes with these illegal pitch calls just because they can be led a little bit discretionary. You see that you are allowed to leave the playing surface now, so it's either going to be that second hop or the potential claim that Dally is replanting on the hop.
Cody reaches it foul, so the count is now 1 ball, 1 strike on Chloe Evans.
This is always the problem with new rules that are implemented in the season. The first season is always a little tough as umpires as well as coaches and pitchers, of course, transition.
One pitch. Fouls it back. It's 1-2. I'm impressed you caught that right away. The sun blocked me from the view of the umpire calling that illegal pitch, so props to you.
You got to keep your head on a swivel, even up here in the booth. You
got a better angle.
You feel like you're protected, but nobody is safe. You just got to keep your eyes out like a hawk.
1-2 the count. Got to pull the strings on an off-speed pitch to get the strikeout for a second out.
And such great response from Daly, only the young freshman, but gonna work the changeup up in the zone, getting a very good hitter in Chloe Evans to take the bait. And that's what helps too when you're ahead in the count. Of course, you can always work off the plate and try to widen that zone a bit better and easier than when you're trying to fight from behind. So good job from Daly.
Now Ashley Griffin takes a ball. Griffin hitting .259, a home run, 14 RBIs. Been swinging the bat well the last week or two. Hit her first home run officially of the season in Lubbock this weekend. And that series win for the Knights. 1-0 the count to Griffin. Low 2-0. Knights coming into today 36 in the RPI. With wins, a series win over Texas Tech and Kansas, both are in the 30s in the RPI. That's significant, as well as a win over Liberty. That's 5 top 50 wins. The Knights have the 5th toughest schedule in the country. Remarkable, which explains some of the 18-15 record. Playing a challenging schedule, which will continue this week. And certainly the Knights trying to make a 4th straight NCAA tournament every weekend now from here on out, though. It's almost like a regional setting. 2-0. The strike, it's 2-1.
Well, you talk about the Big 12 being one of the best conferences in the country, and I think it is at this point the best conference if you look team for team, player for player, right? But it's so tough to remember it and keep that in mind of, hey, we are playing such hard softball right now that we got to put it in perspective of our win-loss column. Like we're fighting and we're battling every single day. You don't get an off day when you're UCF.
No, not when you get to face Lexi Kilfoyle one weekend, Tegan Kavan the next. Life in the Big 12. That's something that UCF's transitioning to.
I mean, you're playing opponents in all conferences. In some of your other best conferences, you've got ACC opponents. You've got your PAC opponents. You've got SEC opponents. So it's not even just your in-conference rivalries here that we're working through. It's every other game as well.
Payoff pitch coming to Griffin. She fouls it off. And that's a transition for UCF. Every week facing a high level.
I want to say yes and no, because Cindy Baumelone has always made her schedule so tough. However, obviously the conference play was maybe they were a little more dominant, of course, right? We saw UCF really run the table for a while, but
in the American, yeah.
Right, and I think now that's the difference, but her out-of-conference schedule has always been so hard.
Payoff pitch. Got her. The ball gets away, so they'll complete the strikeout to first. And the inning ends. Knights train 2. We're through.
Youth softball night that won this program, and the also second softball night in a row to win this award. Jada said that she started speaking in full sentences when she was 8 years old. So being able to go from this to winning this award is a huge accomplishment for her. She made sure to also shout out her family for always supporting her and learning how she learned from a young age. So she said that this award means everything to her. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Maddie. Great honor there. The highest honor any UCF student can get. And Jada Cody has earned that. As Maddie mentioned, the 3rd night to do it. Shannon Doherty, her teammate, won it last year, got awarded that. And Shelly Frick at 2010. The 0-1, it's a grounder to second. Aubrey Evans is there. Will throw to first in time for the first out. As they retire Kylie Komuku, 4-3 on the ground after the first out in the second. That'll bring up Haley Morrow to the plate. How good of a student were you back in your Florida State days? Any high honors academically there?
Yeah, I was on the honor roll. I think I was, Scholar Athlete of the Year one year, something like that.
That's not bad. No order, but nothing like the Order of Pegasus, where you're the highest honor to a student.
I don't know. No, I think mine was all ACC stuff. ACC Scholar Athlete of the Year.
Fair. That's good. It's good. Normally,
what is it? Senior class award winner? That doesn't exist anymore. But
if we were at some other stadium
back
right now,
in the old day.
if another stadium, you'd be bragging. But unfortunately, we're on the same field as 2 players that have Order of Pegasus honors here at UCF with Shannon and Jada. So
no comment.
If it makes you feel better, you're ahead of me. 1-0 count. Ooh, a pie. 2-0. But how fitting Doherty and Cody getting that honor. Here's the last pitch.
This one just getting away. One out of the hand of Sarah Willis. And then 2 behind the dish with Griffin. Tough when you've got the velo like Sarah does in the circle. Pumping it in the upper 60s, going to hit 70s as well.
2-0 pitch is in there for a strike. I'll never forget 2020 when Cody and Doherty were freshmen. Aaliyah White, who of course is the all-time winner in UCF softball history and pitcher, told me, watch out for these 2 names. Watch for these 2 players. They're going to do some pretty cool things in this program. And I'm like, okay. And she was right, as usual. 2-1. The strike, 2-2. Aaliyah, of course, down her 2nd season as assistant coach at North Georgia. Won a national title last year. Doing pretty well. She's probably tuning in, watching this one with 20. As Willis here, 2-2 count to Morrow. He's a fantastic athlete. It's a grounded about 3rd foul. And out there for Morrow, the sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada, who can play short when she's not catching, and has a cousin, Madeline Taggart, who runs track on the BYU team. Her mom played softball in Southern Utah. So good family background there,
right.
athletic background.
It's always the familial ties.
2-2 is high, 3-2. Boy, BYU very disciplined at the plate. Of course, Gordon Eakin has given way to Ken Brook this year, who's in his first year as assistant in running the offense. Of course, with now 3 full-time assistants. Very typical BYU offense. Always been dynamic. Among the top 20 on scoring runs and hitting for the last decade. There's a grounded to short. Williams is there. Will throw to first. Not able to scoop there is Doherty. And Morrow will reach. See how they score that. But the Cougars get a runner on with 1 out.
Morrow doing a good job putting the ball in play aggressively here, but Jazz unable to come up with a throw. Going to try to short hop Doherty there. Unable to come up with the pick. Going to be a tough one, though.
It's an error on Williams on the throw. Now Aliyah Agbayani squares the bunt, foul. Aliyah Agbayani, the sister of Eliana Agbayani, the Agbayani sisters. Of course, their father, Benny Agbayani. Aliyah, of course, a transfer from Cal, a grad transfer. And that's unique in itself as she tries to bunt, pulls back. Of course, she's former teammates with Sona Halijan, who's on the Knights team, who transferred from Cal. And, of course, UCF's hitting coach, Becca Mueller, was her hitting coach at Cal. So we got a lot of reunions this weekend. If you've noticed that, Alex, this week, that's the theme, reunions.
So many ties.
1-1, Agbayani bunts it foul, 1-2. To Alea. Played 60 games at Cal. Is in the DP spot here in this game, but could also play right field. 1-2 from Willis. Inside, 2-2 the count. Right now, Willis trying to figure out where Brandon Bloom's, the home plate umpire, strike zone is. He's got a smile there. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Morrow at first reached on the air. 1 out. That's a miss there, and it's full. 3-2. What are you seeing from Willis here in the early going?
Well, she's right around the zone. She's just missing a couple pitches. Some just right outside the zone, but then some leaving a little too over the middle of the plate, which is when BYU has been able to take advantage, getting ahead early.
It's a grounder to third. Humphreys goes to second for 1. The throw to first is safe. Late call from Todrick Davis. But nonetheless, Agbayani reaches on the fielder's choice. With 2 outs here in the second.
And great try here from UCF's defense. Gonna try to turn the double play and just shy of making it. Humphreys does a good job firing over.
So now Ilana Akbayani, the Akbayani sisters hitting back-to-back here in the 9-1 spot. Runner goes, Morrow, the throw to second is not in time. And Morrow steals her third base of the season and gets into scoring position with 2 out.
Speed kills on the base path, and I like what Coach Eakin is doing, trying to advance an additional 60 feet, put people in motion, apply the pressure to the defense. That's what this is all about. You got to make UCF try to make the play.
It was actually Aaliyah Akbayani with the steal. My air on that. Second steal of the year for her. Keeping track with all the Akbayanis right now.
Right?
So 2-0 the count. So Ilana Akbayani with Alea Akbayani at second. 2-0 is in there for a strike. 2-1 the count. Again, for those that don't know, their father, Benny Akbayani, played for the Mets 98 to 2000, was part of the Mets World Series team in 2000 that lost to the New York Yankees. Would later on play 6 seasons in Japan under the manager Bobby Valentine, who was the manager of the Mets for him in 2000. 2-1. Missed 3-1. Of course, from Hawaii, one of 19 baseball players in the history of Major League Baseball to have over 100 at-bats to come from Hawaii. Benny Akbayani.
That's some good stuff. You just continue to be the encyclopedia, Eric.
I was a big fan of his when he was with the Mets. It's a fun player to watch. But 3-1. There's a strike, 3-2. Did you not see my disappointment when I asked Cameron, the SID for BYU, if Benny was coming on the trip? And he says, I don't think so. My head went down at that point. Cameron done a great job, SID for BYU. Cameron Moon. Payoff pitch here, big pitch here against Akbayani from Willis. And that's a slow back to Willis. We'll have the throw to first to retire the side. Cougars strand a runner. We head to the bottom of the second. BYU with a 1-0 lead. Is one pitch, 1 out. It's Kate Dolly off to a good start here in the second.
And Kate Dolly is dominant in the circle right now, and I know we're only in the second inning, but just her command, her maturity out there on the field is, I think, what I'm most impressed with. Only a freshman for this Cougar team, but showing so much poise and composure.
First pitch to Aubrey Evans, a strike. Aubrey back in the starting lineup, has missed the last 4 games, had a nagging injury, but be good to go. Hitting here now with going on in 1 out. And it's a right back to Dolly. We'll throw to first in time. Good job by Kate, who her brother played baseball at BYU and was drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays. Nate was the brother there. So good athletic. You've noticed here, again, it's good to have family ties in athletic there.
Absolutely.
So I don't think she's going to be, she's probably used to competition. Now Sierra Humphreys to the plate. Freshman hitting .367, 2 homers, 15 RBIs. Humphreys, freshman here, stepping in against fellow freshman Kate Dolly. 1-0's in there for a strike there. 1-1 to Humphreys. Her sister KK has a big series this weekend with Oregon playing Washington in a huge Pac-12 series. That series will begin, I believe, tomorrow, so good chance that the family will be watching this game here tonight. I'll have the exclusivity. Sierra's got the exclusivity of the attention of the family here tonight.
Who wouldn't want that, right?
That's what I'm saying.
She wants to put on a show.
1-2. It's a right back. Dolly backhands that. Will throw to first in time. A 1-2-3 second.
Home run for him. And her first collegiate home run was with him in the stands. She said, I can just go out and play for him because he's not going to get these opportunities. So if he can just live through me just a little bit, that's all I want for him. Back up to you guys.
There is Tanner on the left right there with Maddie. And certainly Tanner, we will say hello, Tanner. I know he's tuning in. He wanted to come. Mom said, no, you can't miss school. That's an order there. But obviously that became a big national story in 2022. He made the trip to Norman for the Super Regionals. A lot of people helped out, and certainly people like Sons of UCF, Adam Eaton, and people, and all the fans really got united on that. The home run that Maddie's referring to was against Minnesota, the opening weekend of that season. And she said she dedicated, and he was in attendance for that game.
How special, huh? Just so heartwarming, and you love to see the sport bring people together, especially families, bringing them closer together. A lot of good stuff to go around.
Her father, Matt, and younger brother, Hunter, is here in attendance. They got, I believe, landed right about an hour before first pitch. Hopefully they made it on time. Traffic in Orlando sometimes can be tricky.
Right?
But certainly, and of course, Tanner recently threw out the first pitch at a BYU game on March 31st when they honored, they certainly in honor of Down syndrome. Haley Morrow, sister, also has Down syndrome. So they've both, and they've done Maddie's done a great job of speaking about it, getting the word out. That pitch is fouled off, 1-2 the count. Got to wonder what's going through her mind. She knows this stadium well. There's a lot of friends she sees in the outfield, but obviously you're locked in here with your own friends and your own teammates here at BYU.
It's a tough spot to be in, but I think she just spoke so highly of UCF and her experience with Coach Ball Malone, with the athletes. Got to follow your heart, but really good stuff for Bejarano.
Pitch is foul back. When I interviewed her before the start of the season, off the air, she asked me, so who's taking over working on Coach Ball Malone, Coach Bear's hair? She used to be the hairdresser for Coach Ball Malone when they would go to functions and travel. I asked Coach Ball Malone about that. She said Shannon Sale right now and Cassidy Brewer are sharing those duties. So not even one person can replace Maddie when it comes to hairdressing. 1-2 pitch. Outside. Of course, she was committed to UCF as an 8th grader by then UCF head coach Renee Lors Gillespie, who she would face last year in the NIC championship game when BYU played Iowa. She had a go-ahead home run to give him the lead, only to see Iowa come back and walk him off. But she hit one against Coach Gillespie. Talk about a full circle moment. And she takes their ball 3. 3-2 now, the count to Maddie, who actually had a stress fracture in her knee when she stomped at home plate when she hit home run in that game. I couldn't believe it.
I heard that too, and hey, I mean, sometimes you're just so excited to celebrate that you can't really control yourself. I think we've all been there.
Payoff pitch. Bejarano with a grounder to second. Aubrey Evans will throw to first in time to retire Maddie as Evans makes the play for the first out of the inning. Violet Zavodnik coming to the plate. It's worth mentioning, because when people think of players transferring their minds, well, what went wrong? What's wrong? That is not the case here. This was simply a family matter. She wanted to be closer to Tanner. They're about 8 hours drive now. They're doing every home game, and that meant a lot to her. It was an emotional for her to leave. There's a swing and a miss. And certainly from a UCF perspective, there's nothing but positive thoughts about her. She's always been talking to some of the players. She will be invited to whenever they do that 2022 reunion. She'll be a big part of that.
And that's amazing, right? You can't fault these athletes for having to follow their hearts, especially when it's leading them to such a pure place, like wanting to be closer to her family, her and her brother's relationship being so sentimental and important to her. And I think what she's doing, even just for Down syndrome awareness, is really remarkable.
Zavodnik at the plate, 1-1 the count to Violet. Willis. Zavodnik with a grounder to second. Aubrey Evans will throw to first in time to retire Zavodnik for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone. Now Hunter Ava, who drove in the RBI single with 2 outs in the first, her 46th of the year. 7th in the country in RBIs, hitting .486 in Big 12 play. She was the all Big 12 preseason selection. At the rate she's going, she should certainly get consideration for all Big 12 after the season. Here's a grounded to short. Williams throws to first, side retired. A 1-2-3 inning by Janisha Rowe and Shannon Doherty against Kate Dolly. She's had a good first two innings. What do you expect to see here from the Knights here in the home half here in the third against Dolly?
Well, UCF trying to hone in a little bit better on their plans. Dolly's doing a great job challenging them around the zone, not having to miss middle too much. But she's also able to mix in that off speed too. So if you're UCF, you're trying to hit early in the count and not get behind.
It's low for a ball. 1-0 the count to Willis. Hitting .325. No homers, 6 RBIs. Crowd has settled in for a Thursday night. You wondered if some people might forget. Nope. They're here. And as we found out, Alex, people are cooking already food,
yes,
dinner. As you've witnessed. You've got one yourself here.
Hey, we both have one.
That's true.
Enough to share.
You got it first, though. They make sure you're taken care of first. Rightfully so.
They're good to me. What can I say?
I think they heard you were back, and they're like, all right, she's back. I didn't get anything last time, I'll tell you that, when I was by myself. 1-1 the count. That's 2-1 to Willis. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for BYU. No runs, a hit, and an error for the Knights here in the bottom of the third, the first of a 3-game series. Both teams played on Tuesday. Of course, BYU flew in yesterday. As Willis swings, miss, and that off-speed pitch right now for Kate Dolly's giving them some problems.
It is. She's able to mix it up in the zone so effectively. See Sarah Willis just taking the bait, and she's not the only Knight hitter so far to fall victim to that pitch from Dolly. I love how she's throwing it in nearly every count.
2-2. There's a swing and a miss in the dirt. And they'll complete the strikeout as Morrow throwing to first to get Willis for the first out in the third inning. As Dolly recording that strikeout. Already her third of the game. What is it about that pitch that gives hitters fits?
I think out of the hand, it's hard to tell because typically, too, what you look for is sort of the trajectory of the pitch. So that off-speed staying up in the zone, it's hard to decipher the velocity change out of the hand.
Ball 1 to Janisha Rowe. And, Alex, you called it in that first at-bat. We're seeing it again. The extra infielders for BYU. Lily Owens moving from right field into the infield towards, shortstop, where she made the play back in the first. And Rowe fouls it off. So clearly we're going to see a heavy dosage of this when Rowe is at the plate.
I think so. Well, especially because Janisha Rowe is going to be doing the short game so much. Very rarely do we see her swing away or have much pop in the bat. And so they're always going to sell out for the short game until she shows the opponent why they shouldn't.
The 1-1 pitch. There's a strike. Welcome to the advanced analytics of college softball 2024, right? Like, this is part of it. Everybody has depth.
Absolutely.
Everybody uses 6-4-3 chart center. You know, they have all this stuff that they can figure out your rate tendencies. It's unbelievable. But this is unique. This is like the version of the extra infielder. 1-2. Rowe will tap, slap, foul. We saw when UCF played South Carolina, we saw Beverly Smith do this. And it worked out. In fact, Rowe with the game on the line drove line one up the middle. But because they had the extra outfielder, Blampede was there in second, made the catch to save the game.
I think that's what it's all about. You're selling out for the numbers and the statistics because numbers don't lie. More often than not, they don't lie.
1-2 count. Because a casual fan might be thinking, well, that's kind of risky having nobody in right field. But they believe that all the numbers suggest that the odds of her hitting it to right field are very slim, especially if the pitcher executes the pitch in a certain spot. One, two. It's a high chopper. Throw to first. And they're going to say out. Cassidy Brewer, the assistant, is saying we should challenge that. We'll see if they do. There is instant replay here. That was a bang play. I think Coach Paul Malone's first going to hear from the umpire and his point of view.
Well, and this is why Janisha Rowe's so good. Look at the speed down the base path, even when your infield is selling out. I would say, what do I know? But I mean, I feel like they have to. On that one, normally I'm, almost sometimes.
And that's pretty clear. Like I mentioned.
I agree. Sometimes I feel like I accidentally side with the umpires, but that one's a tough one.
The key word is conclusive, and I think that's conclusive enough. You and I talked about this in the Texas series and debated whether certain play there where Carson Fryer tagged the Texas runner out. They overturned it. They said she didn't. You felt it was conclusive enough, and that was the key. And I think this one is conclusive enough to overturn. We'll see, though. The umpire's taking their time. Here's one more look.
It's a great shot from our camera crew behind the scenes.
Why we have instant replay, isn't it, Alex? That's why, right there.
Absolutely. And those are big calls that could really change the outcome of whatever's going to happen next. And that's why I am a fan of replay on bang plays like that.
Well, I think Gordon's going to double check to say, what did you see on the replay that wasn't live? And I think they're going to tell him what they saw. And he's like, okay, all right.
Well, and I think he should. He should be asking the
questions.
questions,
You always
right?
have to. You got to defend, make sure everybody's on the same page. No doubt. I would do the same exact thing. Shannon Doherty now at the plate with Rowe at first. It's a hit for Rowe. First pitch is ball one. 1-0 the count to Shannon Doherty with Rowe, who has 13 steals on the season at first base. So we'll see what the Knights do here with one out. Keep in mind, there's one out here in the third inning. Doherty hits it through, base hit. A single for Shannon Doherty. Her career hit number 192 gives the Knights now 2 on, 1 out here in the third.
This is the clutch moments that we've been waiting to see from Doherty. So much experience under her belt, but finally coming through in some big moments when it matters most. And this could really be a pivotal point right now. Around.
Jada Cody now to the plate. She singled back in the first inning. That was career hit 246. Moved her into third place all time. First pitch to Cody. Swing and a miss. And again, that looked like a drop ball from Kate there, Alex.
She's going to work up and down in the zone so effectively. I almost feel like Coach Eakin was juking us a little bit, Eric, because he said, her rise ball, she won't throw it too much, but she's climbed the ladder a few times here tonight.
Yeah. The 0-1. There it is, 0-2 on Cody. Coming in, this is her 24th appearance, 8th start of the year. Pitched 55 innings, so she's got a rubber arm, as they say. She's ahead of Cody, 0-2. Cody reaches for it, slow grounded to short. Akbayani is there, will throw to first in time to get Cody. Both Knight runners advance into scoring position, but that's a huge out for Dolly to get Cody for the second out here in the third. As you see Rowe now at third with Shannon Doherty at second base, with Chloe Evans now stepping to the plate, who struck out back in the first inning. First pitch to Chloe. It's a strike, 0-1. I think the other thing that might surprise some of the Knight hitters, Dolly had 44 walks coming into this game, but she's had good command so far through the first and 2/2 The 0-1. Cody hits it to Chloe hits it to the right side, but right to Ava, who touches the bag at first to end the inning. Top of the fourth on this beautiful Friday evening, or Thursday evening. I keep saying Friday. Bad habits, Alex Powers. Here the Thursday night. 1-0 lead for BYU. Eric Lopez alongside two-time All-American Alex Powers with Maddie May, who's right now working on getting BYU head coach Gordon Eakin for his thoughts as he's getting his headset on. BYU with a 1-0 lead, scoring a run in the first, and we're ready to now to toss it to Maddie May with head coach Gordon Eakin. Maddie?
Thank you, guys. I'm sure you guys are enjoying this Florida weather. How are we keeping this momentum going throughout the game?
Well, I don't know if I'd call this momentum. Kate's pitching well, holding a good offense down, and as long as she keeps pitching well and we square up a ball or two, it'll be okay. But it's too early to call it momentum.
Okay, now what do you guys need to focus on to go through the entire game?
Her changeup. We got to take that changeup away from her by squaring it up a few times, and I think if we can take that pitch away, we'll be all right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Maddie May. Thank you, Coach Eakin. Alex, your thoughts there on Gordon there? Not saying, no, we don't have any momentum right now. He just feels it's kind of, hey, right now a pretty even game.
I think he's keeping it real, and something that Coach Eakin wants to see is his team keep their foot on the gas pedal and score a couple more, because everybody knows you're not safe with one run with where the game is right now. Offense is too explosive as a whole across the country, let alone in this conference.
Lily Owens to lead it off, followed by Maddie Udall here in the fourth against Sarah Willis. First pitch. It's in there for a strike, 0-1. Owens has a hit in her first at-bat. So that was back in the first inning, up the middle. The 0-1. Hit foul, out of play, 0-2. Of course, maybe Coach Eakin not familiar with 1-0 games, considering, especially after that Houston series, where he called it one of the wildest emotional games ever. Over 4 hours, that final game of that Houston BYU game. They fell behind 8-0 in the first inning. Was down to their last out in the 7th inning, only to tie it up, send it to extra innings, and then Hunter Ava with the grand slam in the bottom of the 9th, coming from behind to win 17-15 in one of the wildest games. To win the first ever Big 12 series in program history for BYU in their first year.
He called it the 19-inning game for
yeah,
forever. He kept saying, so sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm still, a little scorned by it because it was so long.
That ball is popped up foul, but he used every player on his roster in that game. But he mentions that's a highlight of the depth of his team that he has this year and the versatility that he has really paid off for him in winning that game. And the never give up attitude. I mean, a lot of teams, you're down 8-0 after one inning. You're thinking, well, it's not our day, but they kept chipping away.
You got to stay the course. You got to be fully committed to the process, because sometimes the outcome is so hard. And if you look big picture, it seems so far away.
Owens fouls it off. 1-2 the count. Yeah, Ava with the walk-off grand slam. Kind of interesting there, of course. She had a 5-hit game in that one. Of course, UCF coming off the walk-off grand slam by Sona Halajan against UNF on Tuesday night. A 9-0 win in 5 innings. The 1-2 to Owens from Willis. There's 2-2. Did you ever hit a walk-off home run, a walk-off grand slam?
A walk-off grand slam, no.
Okay. Well, you've had walk-off home runs.
Correct.
Any memorable ones that jumps out?
Yeah, my one against Florida was pretty
good
memorable.
One. Yeah. 2-2 the count to Owens. That's high, 3-2. So Owens working the count. What do you think of the BYU approach and the discipline that they have? All the hitters taking pitches, making Willis work, who's right approaching 70 pitches here in the fourth.
Well, I think it's smart because Sarah Willis is throwing a lot of pitches around the zone. She's getting behind in counts, and even if she's starting ahead, they are working her deep into counts. And I think that's how they're challenging Willis to have to bring more pitches over the plate, which is where we've seen the Cougars have some offensive success so far. We're still early, but so far.
Big pitch for full count. There's Cassidy Brewer, who was the last night to hit a walk-off grand slam in 2017 against UConn on senior day, prior to Sona Halajan doing it on Tuesday night. How about that? Full circle there.
That's a good tidbit.
That was Ryan Ladika, courtesy UCF SID. There's a ground at a third. Nice play by Humphreys. Will throw to first. in time to get the out of Owens. Big play there by Humphreys. Good defense there is robbing Owens of a hit.
Oh, look at Humphreys reach for this ball right there. Almost going in the 5-6 hole, but Humphreys has the range, does a great job cutting across the diamond and firing over to first.
So now Maddie Udall at the plate. This pitch in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. To Udall, who Coach Eakin told us very pleased with the play that she's had at third base. Her uncle played baseball at BYU. Her grandfather played football at Southern Utah. Started her career off at Utah Tech before transferring to BYU in January of 23. She swings the misses, and it's 0-2.
We talk about the familial athleticism, and right there, just continuing the pattern that I feel like we already knew.
A lot of family pipelines, too. A lot of pipeline to Hawaii, too, for BYU.
That's good stuff.
The 0-2 from Willis. That's foul. Oof, line drive there. Near the on-deck circle there. Of course, Gordon Eakin in his 22nd season was an assistant at BYU from 2000 to 2002 before taking over the program as a head coach. Played baseball, was back played in the Oakland A's minor league system. Mentioned the 16 NCAA tournament appearances, 8 West Coast Conference championships, 5 Mountain West championships, a WAC title. So nothing new for him as far as changes. And, of course, made that super regional in 2010, 2 wins away from the College World Series. But Kenzie Fowler in Arizona had something to say about that otherwise. But done a remarkable job in his most recent, as 2021, made the regional final in Tempe when they upset Arizona State, before losing to Pete DeMore and Virginia Tech in that regional final.
Again, historical encyclopedia, especially for the game of softball more than anything.
I was going to say, it's a softball, just a softball fan there. Not just UCF, but history. I know everything.
You know it all, yeah.
That's where I got to meet Coach Eakin, actually, covering that regional remotely, of course, as we all think, 2021. Of course, he's good friends with USF head coach Ken Erickson, both very similar in style and personality. Both, of course, have been a part of the U.S. national team as a coach. Gordon more of an assistant. Ken obviously a head coach for a decade. Here's a ground ball. Ooh, Humphreys lost the grip of that ball. One hop, and it still worked for an out. Whoa. Not sure that's how she drew it up, but it counts as an out.
Humphreys is still doing a great job flashing the leather over there at the hot corner. That one coming up on her, but look at where she's playing behind the bat. So many similarities that aren't talked about, in my opinion, enough.
I'm going to have to ask her after the game. She may have actually done that one bounce on purpose, actually. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'm going to give her credit. I'm going to apologize in advance and say she did that on purpose. Whether she did or didn't, I don't know. But I'm just going to defend her because that was a perfect bounce throw there.
Okay.
So, I mean...
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
1-0 the count. That's line foul. As a first base, I mean, sometimes infielders do work on that with first baseman where they throw a ball right at one hopper because maybe they don't want to overthrow or maybe the grip of the ball.
You'd be surprised, I think, at some of the stuff that athletes do almost intentionally to regather themselves, whether it's their footing or how they have their hand around a ball that they're trying to throw. Anything like that. It's not uncommon.
Ball is high. 2-1 to count. Here in the 4th inning. Kayla here, the junior from Hawaii. Of course, played at Ole Miss in her first 2 years. Takes for a ball. Is Komaku now ahead of the count. She's majoring in broadcast journalism, Alex. Could be going after one of our jobs.
Good stuff, hey. Everybody that wants to get in this sport, I think it's so good for the athletes. Nobody knows it better than them. Nobody lived it more than they did.
She's ahead here 3-1 against Willis. Swings, hits a high fly ball, foul territory. Chloe Evans chasing it, but it's out of her reach. Near the bullpen there. And it's full, 3-2. The count to Kayla. Later from 22-23 at Ole Miss. It's come over to BYU. Having a solid season. 298, 3 homers. Can play the outfield, a very versatile player, which Gordon Eakin likes. Payoff pitch. Change up, that's a grounder to first. Knocked down by Doherty. Will touch the bag to end the inning. 1-2-3 inning for Willis, and the Knights hope to. Bottom of the fourth. At the Plex. Knights trailing 1-0. Well pitched pitcher's duel here between Dolly and Sarah Willis. Eric Lopez alongside two-time All-American Alex Powers. Maddie May, who's going to talk to head coach Cindy Ball-Malone momentarily for her thoughts about so far what's going on as Maddie May is set up. And let's toss it over with Coach Ball-Malone.
Thank you, guys. Coach Ball-Malone, what were you just telling your team right there in that huddle?
To get our pitch when runners are in scoring position, I think we kind of fed into the pitcher's plan a little bit more than into our plan. And, just slowing the game down. We had 2 great hitters up in that scenario last inning, and I think we could have gotten better results with just staying within ourselves.
And what do you guys want to focus on to carry this game to the win?
Same thing, just sticking to our plan, putting the ball in play where we want to put it in play, and staying together.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Maddie May. Thank you, Coach Ball-Malone. Give me your thoughts there, what you had to say there.
Opportunities, and that's what Coach Ball-Malone has talked so frequently about throughout the season, is capitalizing on opportunities that we are presented with, whether we create them or the other team gives them to us. And she also talks about it on the other side, too, when her team is out on the field for defense, of limiting those free passes and opportunities that the opposing team gets. Timeliness, that's got to get it most when it counts.
Ashley Griffin to lead it off for the Knights here in the home half of the fourth. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for BYU. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for UCF. Griffin will be followed by Kotzelnick and Aubrey Evans. That's a strike. It's 1-1. Of course, Coach Ball-Malone won her 200th game as UCF head coach on last Thursday at Texas Tech. Won her 300th overall win as her coaching career on Friday. The 1-1. It's low for a ball. If you're wondering, Coach Ball-Malone got to 200 wins at UCF in her 296th game as head coach at UCF, passing Renee Lors-Gillespie, who did it 344 games. Both did it in their 6th season, but Ball-Malone faster. 2-1 pitch to Griffin. And it's outside 3-1. The irony, of course, doing it in Lubbock is Renee Lors-Gillespie, when she came to Orlando to start the UCF program in 2000, when their first game in 2002, she left Texas Tech. In fact, Coach Gillespie's last year at Texas Tech in '99, they got to a regional final in Fresno. Here's Griffin with a base hit to center. And a leadoff single for Griffin and the Knights here in the home half of the fourth.
Griffin doing a great job just peppering this one right back up the middle. Not trying to do too much with this ball, but just capitalizing on a pitch batter of the inning.
Stormy Kotzelnick will come to the plate, and they're going to make looks like a pitching change. Yeah, that's going to be it for Dolly, who is magnificent. Goes 3+ innings. We'll tell you about the new BYU pitcher when we return here at the bottom of the fourth. BYU up 1.
South Motors BMW is now BMW of South Miami and a proud member of the Morgan Automotive Group, Florida's largest.
New pitcher for the Cougars, the lefty, Gianna Mattis, getting the ball here for the Cougars.
And another freshman. I love Coach Eakin putting these young guns in the circle here. Mata is going to be more of a down ball power pitcher. He's going to have good velo in the mid to upper 60s. So complemented with that drop ball is going to be a Scroove a screw, curve, and changeup. She's going to work all planes in the zone, able to climb the ladder a bit when needed, but predominantly working at the knees and down. I think that we should call that a new pitch, huh? What do you think?
I'm going to defer to you. You've made up rules there.
Did they try to call one the crop previously? I think that was the curveball drop-ball mix. Got to have a little fun with it.
So Kotzelnick now, it's a lefty-lefty matchup too, Alex. I wonder if that plays a factor in this too.
Yeah, it's tough. It was always tough for me as a left-handed hitter trying to face a left-handed pitcher in the circle. That ball naturally also going to tail typically away from us as hitters, which can make for a long day sometimes.
First pitch, a strike, 0-1 the count. Samantha Ray pinch running for Griffin at first base. The young freshman who found out over the weekend that you never know who's tuning in to a UCF broadcast. Very popular in social media. And try to figure out what you're saying. There's a Kotzelnick. Takes a ball, 1-1 the count with Ray at first base. You're in the bottom of the fourth, a 1-0 game. First of a 3-game series. 1-1. Fouled off, and it's 1-2. So what's the key if you're Kotzelnick, you're a lefty hitter to have success against a lefty pitcher?
You're trying to see the ball deep, and all you're trying to do as a left-handed hitter, or really any hitter with a new pitcher coming in, make them challenge you in the zone and just see the ball deep into the zone. Don't try to do too much with it. If you're Stormy, try to have a base hit right back up the middle right now and let your barrel and your teammates behind you do some work.
Low and in, 2-2.
And Kotzelnick was, in my opinion, a couple of weeks ago, one of the hottest hitters in this night lineup. We saw her get put in that starting rotation consistently in the top part of your order. She was squaring a lot of balls up, so I like to see her still working through, finding that consistency, trying to put some good balls in play.
Well, she's worked the count full here now, Stormy. 3-2 the count with Ray at first base. Payoff pitch. And that sliced foul. First, I mentioned Samantha Ray, who has a young sister who plays at Weber State. So I'm sure they're watching out west pretty closely. So Sammy's got the entire family attention to herself. So it's the beauty of playing on Thursdays. Your families have no excuse not to watch. 3-2. Kotzelnick slices one in the left field. That's going to drop in for a hit and extra bases. Ball Malone is going to send Ray. Zavatnik's throw will be cut off, and we're tied at 1 on an RBI double by Stormy Kotzelnick.
And Stormy Kotzelnick driving this ball the other way. Talk about letting it get deep in the zone. Kotzelnick does exactly that and capitalizing on a pitch right over the white. Samantha Ray motors around the base path. I love that.
The family's watching.
Right, I gotta show them how it's done.
David Ray watching. That's a big hit for Stormy, though. 13th RBI of the season. Vintage Stormy Kotzelnick. Tying the game up at 1 with now Aubrey Evans coming to the plate with a runner at second. But now we got to move, and this could be it. Quick hook for Gianna. I think they wanted to do that lefty-lefty matchup, Alex. That was why they brought in Gianna. It didn't work, though. And now I'm going to be interested to go back to, do they go back to Kate Dolly or do they go to somebody else? We'll find out when we return. Drama here in Orlando, 1-1 in the fourth.
Vista BMW of Coconut Creek is now BMW of Coconut Creek and a proud member of the Morgan Automotive Group, Florida's largest automotive retailer. To celebrate, we have...
Bottom of the fourth, third pitcher of the night for the Cougars, Chloe Temples, the senior, in a bit of a homecoming out of Marianna, Florida. Comes in, you look at her numbers, 6-3 on the year. Started her college career at Stetson. Played for Frank Griffin in DeLand, not too far away from here, in 2021 before transferring over to BYU. And has kind of been like the de facto ace, if you will, if you certainly talking to coaching, they don't like to refer to aces and all that, but Temples is their go-to in big moments. And they bring her here in a 1-1 game in the fourth to face Aubrey Evans. As she will face the right-handed hitting Aubrey Evans. So they went to Gianna, the lefty, against Stormy Kotzelnick to go lefty-lefty. It didn't work as Kotzelnick got the double. Now they go back, they'll go to the righty Temples to face Aubrey Evans. In a 1-1 game in the fourth. So we'll see what Aubrey can do here. Grounded back to the pitcher in the second inning. Temple, the lefty. So Temple, they go to a different lefty. I think I misspoke there. I said righty. She's another lefty, but a different style of a lefty for Temple. I wondered if he was going to go back to Dolly, but did not. Goes to Temple. The ace lefty, 1-0 the count. That's low and outside, 2-0 the count to Aubrey Evans. So 2-0 the count. There's Stormy Kotzelnick at second base. Nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth. The 1-1 game. The 2-0 from Temples. And that is inside 3-0. And so Chloe Temples, the lefty senior, coming in relief. Falling behind Aubrey Evans, 3-0. Three balls, no strikes to count to Evans. Let's see if Aubrey takes here. She does, and takes ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Aubrey Evans, and it's 2 on, nobody out as Chloe Temples walks her first hitter coming in appearance. Interesting that Coach Eakin and pitching coach Pete Meredith deciding to go to Temples. Not surprising, arguably their most experienced pitcher and experience, but a fellow lefty following Gianna.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and definitely interesting. However, looking at what she throws is probably going to make sense because even though she's also coming from the left side, contrary to Gianna Mares, who was a down ball pitcher working that drop ball pretty heavily, Temples is going to come in and work more in the upward part of the zone, leaning into that rise a lot more predominantly.
Sierra Humphreys takes ball 1-0 the count. As a hitter, do you now wait to see if until Chloe proves she could throw a strike as a hitter right now, and you've seen her now throw 5 balls to start?
I think so, and you wait because you challenge her. You challenge her in the zone. You challenge her to throw something that you can drive, because if you're UCF, you're not necessarily looking for singles and walks right now. You're looking for extra bases wherever possible.
So the meeting is over. Pete Meredith in his 11th season as associate head coach. It's been a tough year with the injuries, dealing with injuries, and have had to depend on the youngsters more than they probably planned. Not ideal when you're in your first year in the Big 12 that has 7 teams in the top 50 in runs scored and batting average. Very explosive league. 1-0 the count to Humphreys. There's a strike, so it's 1-1. We got Kotzelnick at second, Aubrey Evans at first. Kotzelnick tying the game up on the RBI double, scoring Samantha Ray. The pitch ran for Ashley Griffin, who scored. Got a hit to start the inning. Now a bunt by Humphreys. It's a good one. One play, they'll throw to first in time as Udall makes the play, but Sierra Humphreys gets the sac bunt down to advance both Knights runners into scoring position.
And good situational hitting opportunity for Sierra Humphreys. Going to lay that sacrifice bunt down perfectly. You're going to have Udall come across, firing over to first, getting the out. However, the situational hitting success from Humphreys putting Kotzelnick over at third base.
And advancing Aubrey to second for Sarah Willis. Infield coming in a little bit here for BYU. Now is Chloe Temple against Willis. First pitch, a strike. And it's 0-1 the count.
And this puts Sarah Willis in a big situation right now because a sacrifice fly would be awesome for her, driving something deep to the park, which is why it was so crucial for Humphreys to get that bunt down. So Sarah Willis, obviously base hits help, right? But something in the air will also do the job.
Oh, 1 pitch from Temples. Willis fouls it off, and 0-2 now, the count. Well, and these are the situations Coach Paul Malone's talked to us about. Knights 18 and 15, 11 losses by 2 runs or less, and she's pointed to situational hitting, situational plays that have been the difference. Otherwise, this record could be completely different with the 5th strongest schedule in the country. They've hung with every team. 0-2. Willis fouls it off. But these are the situations that are magnified when you're in the Big 12 that maybe wasn't as magnified in the American.
I couldn't agree with you more, Eric. And every opportunity right now is crucial. Putting your team in a position, 2nd and 3rd, in the bottom of the 4th. This is a big moment.
Two. Willis lays off the rise there from Chloe Temples. It's 1-2.
Temple's doing a good job trying to work that upward part of the plate. That one climbing well out of the zone, so good discipline from Willis. Trying to help her own cause.
1-2. Inside strike 3 called. Willis can't believe it. Big strikeout for Chloe Temples to get the 2nd out on a strikeout.
Huge opportunity for Chloe Temples to come in this game. Just look at that, flip that changeup and paint it from Morrow.
So now, Coach Paul Malone's going to go to the bench. Remember, Janisha Rowe has hit twice with an extra infielder. Well, Coach Paul Malone's going to counter here, going to go to Savannah Adams to hit here for Rowe with the runner at 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs. But a big strikeout for Chloe Temples, the senior.
That's a big moment, Eric, and her ability to come through, get the job done when the pressure's on. Hats off to Temples.
Well, that's why I think Coach Eakin brought her in. Her most experienced, best pitcher right now. Delivers a ball, 1-0 the count to Adams, who's hitting .370 on the year with a home run and 6 RBIs. That home run came in Lubbock a week ago tonight. Hitting here with 2nd and 3rd, 2 out. The 1-0's missed high, 2-0. Lively Thursday night crowd here at the Plex. There's been some memorable Thursday night games at this stadium. Could be in store for another one here tonight. Between 2 good teams looking to make an NCAA tournament appearance. A strike there, 2-1. Knights coming in 36 in the RPI, BYU 48. Look at the outfield there. It is packed for a Thursday. A lot of people took the time from work off, I have a feeling, which we appreciate. 2-1 the count to Adams. Adams fouls it off, and Temple's now a strike away from getting out of this jam. The 2-2 count. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors for BYU. 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error for UCF. The 2-2. Adams pops it up, foul territory. It's playable. Morrow against the net there. Couldn't come up with it. Ran out of space there, and Adams lives to see another pitch.
I do like Coach Paul Malone going to the bench, though, right now, knowing what Janisha Rowe does with the short game. But look at Morrow's attempt. Just tough because you've got Ava over there at first. I feel like she should make that play and probably call her off. You got Morrow coming up out of her squat, running a long way, ditching the helmet. A lot of stuff, a lot of variables.
Adams fouls it off again. Of course, Ava and Morrow not as familiar with this place. They've never played here before. Perhaps not as comfortable as they would be maybe back home, for example. So that could be a part of it too.
Fair, but that's just stuff you talk about, you know, going into each inning, every pitch, every game. Those are the things that you work on so often in practice. Doesn't matter where you're playing. But hey, I hear you.
2-2 the count. Adams muscles one to right, but it'll be play caught as it hung, and the inning ends. Knights do tie it up.
Like are definitely the move.
It sounds like you're speaking from experience.
I have 3 big dogs, and they all would destroy softballs and baseballs, but do not destroy tennis balls for some reason.
Interesting. Haley Morrow at the plate against Sarah Willis here in the top of the 5th. Takes a strike, 0-1 to count. That's Alex Powers, 2-time All-American. Dog analyst.
Yeah, pup connoisseur.
There's no
right?
All-American. I was going to say, I don't know, I can't call you an All-American dog analyst, but I'll just call you dog analyst.
Too funny.
Maddie May down on the field. Willis here with 0-1 count. Tomorrow, who hits it foul down to the right side. They will be followed by the Agbayani sisters, who will hit back-to-back following Morrow here in the top of the 5th. Jessica Yavari, just saw her in between innings. Former Knight, played here from 14 to 16. Sitting in the front row behind home plate to the left-handed batter's box. We got to play against her in that memorable 15 regional, Tallahassee. 0-2. That's outside for a ball, 1-2 to count. He was a great player there, DP, great hitter.
I was just going to say, there's been a lot of great players to come through this UCF program that I got to play against and watch too, whether from afar, during my own career. A lot of talent.
1-2. To grounded at second. Aubrey Evans is there. Will throw to first in time to retire Morrow for the first out here in the 5th. So 1 gone. And that'll bring up now Aliyah Agbayani, the older of the 2 Agbayani sisters, the transfer from Cal, stepping in, getting a chance to finish her collegiate career with her younger sister. Takes the strike, 0-1 the count. Of course, Uvari played for UCF from 14 to 16, part of 3 NCAA tournament appearances, a couple of conference titles for head coach Renee Lours Gillespie, who, of course, Cindy Ball Malone took over for her. And Coach Gillespie went to Iowa. There's a swing and a miss. And I mentioned earlier how Coach Ball Malone won her 200th game in Lubbock, where Coach Gillespie was the head coach prior to coming to UCF. And for many years, I would talk to Coach Gillespie. She would bring up that Texas Tech team. That was one of her best teams ever. But she felt she was frustrated because she faced a team in Pacific in that regional and a young freshman pitcher that was annoying to deal with. That freshman pitcher was Sydney Ball. There's a frozen strike 3. Willis gets Agbayani there for the strikeout. 2 gone in the 5th.
And Sarah Willis just flipping that off-speed pitch in there. Gonna paint the upside part of the plate. Love that location from Willis, and that's what I'm talking about when I say not missing over the middle. That's working north and south really efficiently. Even if she is over the middle, trying to see that ball up is gonna trick hitters in and of itself.
Willis' first pitch, a strike. 1-0 the count to the younger Agbayani. But yeah, now, Coach Gillespie and I, you never mentioned her name, but it wasn't until years later when, of all people, John Rittman, the Clemson head coach, told me about this regional, because he was there with Stanford. But Sydney Ball was a freshman on that Pacific team. Texas Tech won the game 1-0, but they didn't hit. They lost to Fresno in the regional final. But you talk how ironic with that connection with Ball Malone and Coach Gillespie. Coach Ball Malone getting to 200 wins at UCF faster than Coach Gillespie. 0-2 the count to Agbayani. Willis. Hit foul. So count remains 0-2. I spoke to Coach Ball Malone's mom earlier this week, and I asked her, did she ever, how did she get into coaching? Was this just kind of just fluky that it happened? Like, no, she always wanted to be involved in the sport since T-ball, playing, coaching, lives and breathes it. So she was not surprised that she went into coaching. 0-2. I've asked her, like, what's it like seeing your daughter as a head coach versus as a player? She's like, it's much more relaxed now because I can just focus on my grandkids that she helped there. She can figure it out now on her own as a coach. I don't have to worry, stress about it.
This is the fun part, right?
Yeah. 1-2 the count. It's Willis. Akbayani with a base hit to left. Samantha Ray, who came in defensively, plays in. A 2-out single for Akbayani and the Cougars. The runner at first and 2 outs.
Great piece of hitting by Agbayani. Trying to get things started here with 2 outs. Does just enough all the way through contact and extension there. Just stopping the bat. Doesn't even have to finish. Poking it to the opposite field.
So Ilana Agbayani with the single, and that brings up Maddie Bejarano to the plate. With the runner at first and 2 outs. First pitch, runner goes, Agbayani, the throw hits her. It goes into left, and that's going to get Agbayani to third on a flukish kind of a play that works to the Cougars' favor. A throw that was low, and the Cougars take advantage by Agbayani. Good base running.
And speed kills Agbayani on the base path, applying the pressure, and that's what I said earlier. You got to make the dish.
What an athlete Ilana Agbayani is. Could pitch, could play short, could hit, could do it all. And now she stands at third as the go-ahead run here in the top of the 5th with former Knight Maddie Bejarano at the plate. You can't make this up in Hollywood here. Maddie 0 for 2 with 2 ground outs. Facing Sarah Willis. There's a pitch, a strike. 1-1 the count. Strike there to, of course, Bejarano, part of 2 UCF regional teams, 21 and 22. We've spoken about earlier about those 2 memorable base doubles that she hit against Michigan to win that winner's bracket game that would propel the Knights to that regional win here in Orlando against Michigan. She takes there for a ball. Of course, she played here at UCF with her cousin Haley Bejarano, who then transferred also at UNF. But Maddie was, of course, a recruit of Coach Gillespie, who saw her play at the PGF and was impressed. 2-1 the count. That's low, 3-1. In fact, Coach Gillespie was sitting to among none other than Maddie's mom. Mindy was there at the PGF, and Maddie committed to UCF a little bit after that and played with Haley, stayed here, and now at BYU. She's had a great 2 years here, trying to get BYU back to the NCAA tournament. He's ahead of the count, 3-1. And that's ball 4 and a walk to Bejarano from Willis. 2 on, 2 out.
It's a big at-bat for Bejarano. Talk about applying the pressure on the base path. BYU also applying the pressure in the box, not swinging at pitches out of the zone and not taking the bait of Sarah Willis.
And Violet Zavotnik, arguably the most talented hitter and one of the most talented hitters in program history, steps in, 2 on, 2 out. The first pitch, swing and a miss. 0-1 the count to Zavotnik. So you've got
Sarah Willis responding so well. That's the pitch up in the zone that I'm talking about. Great execution from Willis, making it look good out of the hand, believable enough. That one working its way through the strike zone, potentially ending up out of the strike zone, but still good enough.
the 0-1. Runner goes in Bejarano. They do throw to short. They're going to try to get Bejarano. The tag is out. The tag is out. Agbayani does not score before the tag. But they're going to call something else here. What are they going to call here? Gordon Eakin is arguing about something.
And look at this bang-bang play here. You've got Bejarano going to try to apply the pressure, only going to stop halfway. Strott's going to come up, fire across. You've got Bejarano.
Bayani did not get to home plate before the tag was made.
Correct. And you see Strott standing there. Bejarano going to come back. Ooh, that's exactly what he's got to be challenging right now.
Whoa, they changed the call without reviewing it? Whoa, I'm shocked they didn't review that. They have changed the call without reviewing that. So the run's going to count. Now, Coach Paul Malone's going to have to challenge it to review it. Let's take a look.
And I don't know how you don't at least just have to get a look at this. You've got your home plate umpire, I think, who was the one that made that overturned call. First base umpire Todrick Davis initially calling out home plate umpire Brandon Bloom. Going to overturn it. I think they're confused. I think that should have automatically gone to the video as opposed to consulting with one another.
Yeah, I would have just gone ahead and review it. Now, Kylie Shaw, there's a couple of things to discuss here. This is a lot of times teams don't throw because of this situation, the danger of giving up the run. Here's the tag. What's the tag made before she touched base? By Doherty. And, of course, you got Shannon Doherty, who's one of Maddie Bejarano's closest friends. I mean, you can't make this up. Of course, Maddie Bejarano's involved in this play. Let's take a look here. A different angle. So Kylie decides to throw here, because if she does, she could have easily just held on to the ball. Now, there's Agbayani. She comes in, but the tag was...
But why was the umpire waving his hands immediately? You've got to at least make Eakin ask the question and ask for the review, because you made the call in the field. It's not like no call was made.
Here's the call. They're taking... He hasn't made a call. He can make the call there. He's going to talk to Coach Paul Malone about something. And they're going to say she's safe. So the run's going to count. And BYU takes the lead 2-1. Well, wow. Let's take a look here. Did she beat the tag here, Alex? I don't agree. I think she was out.
I think that's
a blow return. That's why the original call is so critical,
so
Alex.
It's
critical.
So important.
She looked out on that one. Now they're going to try to keep track of the count. That's a bad blow. That's wow.
Well, I'm still just confused about what the home plate umpire was doing, because you had the call in the field, which was out. And that's exactly what Coach Paul Malone is saying.
Right,
she said
right
he called out at first. Therefore, the request should be, can this be reviewed? Because that is what I want.
The protocols were not handled well by the umpiring crew there, quite frankly. And the crowd is letting it.
Should be proof enough in video that the call should be overturned.
Well, 2-1 lead for BYU. Bejarano at first. And Zavatnik still at the plate, by the way, the most dangerous hitter. So the Knights got to put that behind him. And now Willis falling behind Zavatnik. So 3-1 the count. It's a 2-1 lead for BYU here in the fifth. Zavatnik pops it up in the infield. Humphreys calls off Willis to make the catch to end the inning. Cougars runs the offense, trying to figure out, get some runs down, trailing 2-1 with Shannon Doherty to lead it off here for the Knights in the fifth against Temples. And that first pitch is in the dirt for a ball. 1-0 the count. Doherty, Cody, and Chloe Evans to hit against Temples. So BYU, controversy, whatever you want to say about it, they get the run. They lead 2-1. Now the Knights see how they respond. You got to put that behind them. The 1-0. The strike, 1-1. So what do you do now if you're the Knights offensively to respond against Chloe Temples?
Well, same concept here. You're trying to challenge Temple in the zone. And if you're Temples, you're just trying to get ahead as much as possible. And that's kind of the balance. You want to work around the zone, not hit anything over the wide of the plate. But if you're UCF, you're trying to take advantage as early as possible, pitch by pitch.
A ball and 2 strikes. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors for BYU. 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors for UCF. That's low, 2-2 to Doherty. I don't know if Doherty, not sure if Shannon and Maddie will talk about that play down the road. Definitely not this weekend. Maybe the 10-year anniversary. Hey, I think I had you out. I don't think so. They're going to argue about that. 2-2 the count to Shannon. Hits it foul. Shannon walked in the first, singled in the third inning. You're in the bottom of the 5th. Boy, it just feels like both head coaches talk about regional setting atmosphere type. There's Maddie there in this Big 12 series, and we're sensing that here tonight.
A lot of excitement, a lot of back and forth momentum changes and big plays.
Doherty up the middle and through. Base hit. Career hit number 193 for Shannon Doherty. Ties her with Farrah Sullivan. More importantly, gets the Knights their leadoff hitter on here in the 6th.
Shannon Doherty trying to set the tone right now for UCF, doing a great job getting things started here, and this is what we want to see. Trying to work through some big moments and get something going for this Knight offense.
Here is Cody at the plate. First pitch to Cody is a strike. 0-1 the count. Cody 1 for 2 with a single back in the first inning. This crowd's into it, Humbo.
Yeah.
I never heard that loud of a boo after the call from the umpire, Alex, in all my years here. That was wild.
Yeah. They're fired up, but again, game's on the line. That was a game-changing play.
0-1 the count. By the way, that hit by Doherty ties her with Farrah Sullivan, as I mentioned, for 12th place all time in UCF softball history in hits with 193. 11 Knights have hit 200 hits in their career. Doherty 7 away from that mark. Cody muscles one into right. Is that going to drop it? Yes, it drops in. Fair ball. Doherty rounding second, going to third. Bobbling the ball. Ball below's going to send Doherty. She's going to score, and we're tied at 2. Jada Cody delivers, driving in Doherty to tie it up at 2. Owens bobbled the ball at right on that hit, and Cody showing her strength here, Alex.
And Jada Cody just letting this ball fall into the perfect place out there in right field. But right fielder Owens just continued. We could have written that up ourselves.
That's how you respond if you're nice. Wow,
right?
Great base running by Doherty. And Owens with the bobble there. Without that bobble, Doherty doesn't score. So I'm guessing there's going to be an error thrown in there, I would assume. We'll see. Chloe Evans gets a base, takes a strike with Cody at third and nobody out in a 2-2 game. It is officially a double by Cody, and then the error by Owens, which allows Doherty to score. That's career double number 49 for Cody, 1 away from the school record, held by Janae Shinhoster at 50. And Evans swings and misses, and Chloe's down 0-2. So a tying RBI double by Cody, and it's a 2-2 game. And how's your blood pressure,
Yeah,
Alex?
I mean, I think it's a little better than yours. I know you get so fired up, and I do too, but whew,
This is fun.
hey, couldn't ask for anything better.
The marquee game of the night in college softball. Lots at stake. Big 12 standing ramifications, NCAA tournament ramifications, with 2 great programs here, 2 good teams, and a fiery, feisty crowd here on this Thursday night here at the Plex. There's been some magical Thursday night games here, Alex. I don't know if you've heard.
A time or two. I'm just kidding.
0-2 the count to Chloe, with Cody at third. Temples ahead of the count on Evans. That's outside a pitch out look like they're 1-2. So if you're Chloe here with 2 strikes, what's your approach?
Right now, I'm just trying to do a job. I'm behind in the count, but I'm going to look pitch by pitch, try to get something in the zone that I can either hammer and hit hard somewhere or try to hit a ball deep enough in the park to get a sacrifice fly. I'm just trying to do a job.
Chloe rips one into right. That's going to drop in for a hit and give the Knights the lead. Cody will score on the RBI double by Chloe Evans. 3-2 UCF leads. Chloe Evans delivers.
Chloe Evans coming through so clutch. Huge opportunity. Going to hit this one deep into the gap. Look at that right center shot right there, Eric. Talk about seeing a ball over the place. You saw that pitch up, too.
Double for Chloe, her 8th of the year, driving in her 24th run. And what a response for the Knights. Falling behind 2-1. The single by Doherty, the double by Cody, scoring Doherty, and now Chloe Evans with a double, scoring Cody, and it's 3-2 UCF here in the 5th. Griffin at the plate. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Low ball 1-0. As Chloe gets picked off at second, was caught halfway, and a beautiful throw by Morrow as she makes Chloe pay. 1 out.
Morrow behind the dish. Gonna see Evans look at that couple of steps that she's gonna get on the misstep there. She wasn't sure whether or not that picking Evans off. That's a big play. Talk about it getting momentum.
Yeah.
It's going back and forth.
That takes ball 2-2-0. Right, with all the momentum there, just a little overly aggressive on the base pad there. And but Morrow, great throw. Saw that, made the perfect throw. Beautiful execution. 2-0 the count to Griffin. There's a strike, and it's 2-1. So 2 balls and a strike to Ashley Griffin. Redshirt sophomore. Missed all of last year with a redshirted with an injury. Back fully this year. Takes ball 3-1. Boy, base running's been a story in this game tonight, hasn't it?
I'm telling you can't make it up. A lot of back and forth stuff, a lot of craziness. Let's just call it that. Wreaking havoc on the base path on both sides.
3-1 the count. That's a strike. It's full. 3-2. Good pitch by Temples.
Temple's using that changeup again. I love how she's working that off-speed pitch in nearly every count. A lot of confidence in that pitch. Just going to let it float through the zone.
Payoff pitch from Temples. Strike 3 looking. Griffin goes down on strikes. 2 gone.
Griffin just frozen from this pitch. Coming from the left side. Temple's going to paint that changeup right at the knees. It's a beautiful spot. In and off the plate. Great execution from Temples.
Stormy Kotzelnick now to come into the plate. I just checked my calendar. I can confirm it's April, not May. It's not mayhem yet, Alex, but it feels like mayhem.
They're playing like it's mayhem.
That's a great word to describe it. So Kotzelnick, who had that RBI double back in the 4th that tied the game at the time at 1. 1-0, the count 1-0 on that pitch. 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for UCF, 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error for BYU. This is their first all-time meeting between the 2 schools in softball. 1-0. Swing there, and it missed. 1-1. So a ball and a strike to Kotzelnick. First, these 2 schools have played, and women's soccer, BYU eliminated UCF in the conference tournament in the Big 12 this year. Got to the College Cup. Kotzelnick up the middle, through. Oh, great play by Agbayani. Throw to first and save. Safe is the call. A late call, but a safe call. And Kotzelnick reaches.
Hey, I'd rather a late call than I would something premature. Ava off the bag, which is what is ultimately going to be the call. But I said I'm okay with the late call only because sometimes the umpires have to be able to process what all happened.
Well, Gordon Eakin now talking to Todrick Davis, who made the call. And they're going to review it. So we're going to see another review. You just had a feeling that was coming. The ruling on the field is safe. Keep that in mind. Let's take a look.
You see Kotzelnick motoring down the line. The throw's going to beat her by just a little bit, Eric, but it's just a matter of whether or not corner of the bag, which I think is ultimately what's going to be in question.
Well, and I think one thing that's going to happen in the sport in the offseason is we got a call here, and they're going to stay with the call. So, she's safe. But I think we're going to have to readdress how to get to the review. We're taking too long just to get to a review. I think we just got to go straight. And I understand, there's got to be some tweaking that's going to happen here because it's certainly delaying these games. And the interesting thing, Alex, before the year, the big mandate was let's get the game faster, right? That's why they got the pitch clock. But now we're delaying the games because people are taking a long time to get a review. That's a strike, and it's 0-1 now to Aubrey Evans.
And you always look at the intent of the rules, right? You got the pitch comm, you've got the pitch clock, all these things to, like you said, speed the game up just a little bit. This is for viewership purposes. This is for, of course, television purposes.
Well, the SEC, I believe, has the review in Birmingham. As Aubrey lines it to right, but Owens will make the catch to end the inning. All right, I'll get off the soapbox during the inning.
Look at that one. It looks like some kind of a poodle or some kind of little doodle mix. There's a lot of things that we could have going on, but look at the little clothes that he's wearing. He looks like a really good boy.
For the record, Taylor did not send that photo to us.
Oh, I would hope not. Clearly,
I think it was a family member. She's still busy in the dugout there.
Very busy, very busy.
Good dog there. Wearing the unique hat there. I don't know what the story on the hat is. That's a lot there.
We can ask later.
Top of the 6, Sarah Willis back to work. We'll face the 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Cougars in Hunter Ava, Lily Owens, and Maddie Udall here in the 6th inning. First pitch, the strike. It's 0-1 to Hunter Ava. 1 for 2, had an RBI single back in the 1st inning. In the top 10 in the country in RBIs with 46. The 0-1. Fouls that pitch off and had that memorable walk-off grand slam against Houston on Friday that, talking to Coach Egan, they'll never forget. It was a line drive, too. It was a question whether it would be just get over the fence or not. It did. And jubilation occurred. Oh-2. Time called there. Ava has been fantastic. Having the count 0-2. Osby got a piece of it to stay alive. For the senior from Utah. It was an all Big 12 preseason selection. Came into this weekend hitting .486 with 2 homers and 11 RBIs in Big 12 games only. It's pretty good, .486.
I would say that's pretty good, yeah.
0-2. Gets off the end of the bat and fouls it off. As a player, does your approach, when you go into conference, does your approach change? Because I've seen certain hitters take it to a different level in conference play versus the pre-conference.
I think the biggest thing that changes when you get into conference play is repeatability, right? You start to see teams multiple times in 1 week, and when you're playing all those games prior to getting into conference, you're not doing that. You're playing a team maybe once, maybe twice, if you're lucky, trying to make those adjustments. But that's where it really is like all cards get laid on the table when you have a 3-game set, because you see everything. You know everything going into these games.
A ball and 2 strikes the count to Ava. Ashley Griffin, by the way, back in the game catching. Remember at Strout at the last inning. There's Griffin hit. 1-2. Up and in, 2-2. Of course, Ava, such a disciplined hitter, has only struck out 11 times in 105 at-bats. Two. Ava hits a fly ball to left, but playable. Cody, who's in and left, makes the catch. Jada Cody returned in the 6th inning to play left field after the cameo appearance by Samantha Ray in the last inning. And Cody makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Look at that. I think that's why one of the reasons why she liked playing the outfield. She likes to, I'm telling you, she's got a beautiful smile.
We talked about it in pregame. It's almost like it's fun for some of these athletes to do something different. Jada Cody always playing third base for the most part, going to come in, catch, play first. It's all pretty consistent.
Ball is hit foul by Lily Owens, and the count is 0-1. There she is. Look at that smile. Look at that smile.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And then to have the opportunity to go do something different, it's a lot of fun, and it makes it just so much more enjoyable, too. Covering some ground, the good range out there in the grass.
Oh, I guarantee you, she's hearing it from the bullpen, too. I guarantee you she's hearing it from the bullpen. Either Shannon Sale, the GA, or some of the pitchers.
Right.
There's a little teasing going. The 0-1. Owens lines it to right. Chloe Evans dives to make the catch. Chloe Evans robbing the fellow right fielder Owens of a hit. 2 gone here in the 6th.
Lily Owens going to let this ball get deep and just pepper it opposite field. Look at that inside-out swing. Love that piece of hitting, but Chloe Evans says, no, not today. Chloe Evans so good with the glove.
Doesn't come up with that. Who knows? If that ball gets past her, it's extra bases. So 2 gone. Now it's Udall at the plate. Takes ball 1. 1-0 the count to Udall. There's Chloe Evans. She enjoys right field, playing that outfield. There's definitely a rush as an outfielder, I would imagine, right? You're there.
I think so.
You hear the crowd. The 1-0 is fouled out. In fact, Chloe told me when she played at Minnesota in 2022, they played here against UCF. It was packed like right tonight, and she really enjoyed the interaction with the UCF fans.
Yeah.
And she never forgot that. When she decided to enter the transfer portal, that was one of the things that was in the back of her mind when she was making her decision, eventually coming here to UCF. Was she just had loved the environment here. The 1-1, that's high, 2-1.
Well, sometimes that kind of stuff really leaves an impression on the athletes. I love moments like that because, you know, when your career is over and you're looking back at the times that you played throughout all the different games, all the different seasons, those are some of the things that you remember most.
Well, what's interesting is the outfield has really evolved here at the Plex, really since 2021, when they opened it up and let fans watch in both the left field and right field. Here's a grounder to second, Aubrey to first to retire Udall and the Cougars in order here in the
corner. I'm not sure if that one's Gracie or Ruger. I want to take a guess that one's Ruger. Gracie looks like the doodle mix. I don't know why. I'm just guessing, I assume, but hey.
Sierra Humphreys takes ball 1. If you don't do a Westminster dog broadcast at some point in your career, I'll be disappointed.
All the good boys and girls, right? All the floofs.
I'm just saying. You got a natural here. 1-0.
I need to think.
You and Lucas, I mean, this was you and Lucas's idea. I mean, Lucas at least should have the courtesy to, like, showcase you to like a lot of these, dog shows and say, hey, we have an analyst who's really good at breaking down dogs.
I feel like if I ever got there, they'd say, Alex, you have to have other adjectives other than cute and floof and look at the good boy.
A ball and a strike to Humphrey, swings and a misses here with Chloe Temples. The count is 1-2.
Chloe Temples climbing the ladder. Sierra Humphreys taking the bait. Look at this one. Effective up in the zone, right across the letters of the chest of Humphreys. Great pitch.
1-2 the count. And Humphreys delivers with a base hit to right. Owens again with trouble there, but a good backup by Violet Zavotnik, who's such a magnificent center fielder. But it's a single for Humphreys to open the sixth.
Humphreys letting the ball get deep. Look how high that pitch was. Even higher than the one that she swung and missed at. But
now Coach Paul Malone is going to go to the pinch hitting here with Sona Halajan, who former Cal Bear, we mentioned former teammate with Agbayani. But Sona is going to pinch hit here for Sarah Willis. I think this does a couple things. It gives Sarah Willis a chance to take a break, get ready for the seventh. And it gives Sona a chance here, who hit a pinch hit grand slam walk-off in the bottom of the fifth on Tuesday night against North Florida, what the players call it a Sona slam. She takes the ball. The last night to hit a walk-off grand slam prior to Sona on Tuesday night was Cassidy Brewer, 2017, against East Carolina. She's ahead 1-0 against Temples. There's a strike, 1-1. And that's one of the roles that Sona is adapting to, is being a weapon off the bench when she's not starting, being that big pinch hitter. Players surrounded her, congratulated her on that walk-off. It was her first walk-off of her career.
definitely a memorable one.
1-1, slices one into left, but that'll go foul, and it's 1-2. First, Becca Mueller, the assistant coach, was at Cal with Sona. Count in 1-2. Sona was an all Pac-12 performer 2 years ago, 2022. Down in the count here, 1-2 with Humphreys at first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the sixth. One-two. Sona hits it off the end of the bat, pops it up. Coming in is Zavotnik, who makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So Sona is retired. Now that'll bring up Janisha Rowe, who's going to hit. Because remember, they pinch hit for her earlier already, so she's got to hit here because they want to keep her glove at center. As I look at Lily Owens to see if she will come into the infield, she's taking some steps forward. But she's staying at right field here, Alex. Perhaps because of the runner at first being on base, maybe they're going to play this differently.
I think you have to. I think you've got to keep your outfield set. And still, of course, sell out for the short game. You've got your third baseman, Udall, playing in.
The strike, 0-1 the count. 0-1 the count. So Rowe, for the first time tonight, seeing 4 infielders instead of 5. Now, Gordon Eakin's going to have a word about something with Todrick Davis, who now is going to talk to Brandon Bloom about something. What this could be about, I wonder, is the question. Could be they're going to review it. They're going to review something here. They're going to review, I'm wondering if they're going to review if Humphreys left early. I think that's got to be what it is, Alex. What else would you be reviewing right now? Other than, did Humphreys leave early? Because remember, in one of the new rules they added this year is you can review whether a runner left early. And that's been a controversial thing over there because there's been home runs that have been taken away with runners on base here. Let's see if Sierra maybe left early here.
I think it's a good question.
Courtney Deifel among them in a media availability. I think some of the coaches in the sport have been surprised by how it's been used. And funny enough, you've brought this up, I'm sure, on your podcast with Brittany McKinney, haven't you?
And actually, coincidentally, I feel like this is, just my karma here because I actually posted about this today on my podcast.
Oh,
and
the timing.
I just said, I'm just not the biggest fan of the review rule of runners leaving early unless, it is on a steal call, things like that. But right here, you have Humphreys just getting the lead. She's not going to go anywhere.
Interference. And they're going to say, no, she didn't go. And what they found was that it's a judgment call. It's hard to overturn something like that. Now, I'm not saying this is a judgment call, but my point is, I feel like this is a nitpick type of deal. And again, if we were told, Alex, you and I and a bunch of other people in the sport were told before your big mandate was to speed up the game. That's why they emphasized the pitch clock. How is this speeding up the game? Reviewing whether a runner left early.
It's so tough, right?
I'm not blaming the coaches. I would do the same thing if I'm Gordon Eakin. If you think you ran early, I just think it was a bad rule to put in. 0-1. Plus, it makes the umpires now do more things in their heads. That's the last thing we need.
Right.
Where was that podcast again that you brought that up again? What's the name of the podcast?
It was on my podcast, Up the Coast, where we talk a lot of ACC softball, just because that's our backgrounds, right? But then, of course, we do extend to softball in general.
A ball and a strike to count to Rowe with Humphreys at first. That's outside. 2-1. Maybe they saw the coach Eakin saw that on your social media and said, hey, Alex brought it up. I should challenge this. Maybe that's what happened.
So funny, right? It's my karma.
But I've talked about it on my podcast, too, and because Arkansas lost a home run because of the runner leaving early. 2-1. Rowe lines it, caught by Agbayani, throws to first, out, double play as Humphreys is out. Beautiful play defensively by the Cougars. Agbayani.
I'd say under 10 pounds, plus or minus a pound.
Give and take?
Give and take a pound, right?
I gotcha. Keep sending those photos, Pooch Pics. Part of the tradition now. Here on the Big 12 now on ESPN Plus here on Orlando. Top of the 7th. Kayla Kamuku to lead it off for the Cougars against Sarah Willis in a 1-run game. First pitch from Willis. Swing first popped up. Aubrey Evans behind first base in right field makes the catch. And Kayla Kamuku is retired on one pitch for the first out here in the 7th. Bring up Haley Morrow to the plate against Sarah Willis. Here in game 1 of this 3-game series. Game 2 tomorrow, 6 Eastern. Game 3, noon Eastern on Saturday. And the first pitch from Willis is a strike, 0-1 to count tomorrow. Morrow, sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada. Swings and fouls it off to the right side. It's 0-2. It's gotten a little chillier now here all of a sudden in Orlando here tonight. Dropped to the 60s. Nobody notified Alex or me on that.
Right, I'm up here in the booth, frigid.
0-2 the count. Wind blowing right field still. It has been the whole game. 0-2 in the dirt. Ball 1. So 1-2 the count here in the top of the 7th. A 1-run game. Terry Mahajer, the UCF AD, right here. And then to the back of him on that right side, if you saw there, was Jessica Yavari, former Knight player, on the far right there next to Terry Mahajer. Great to see Mr. Mahajer here. Catching some good softball. 1-2. Away, ball 2. 2-2 to count. Terry Mahajer seen an intense game here tonight.
I think it's safe to say he came out for a good one.
Yeah, I'd say so.
A real nail biter back and forth.
Two pitch. Low and it's full. 3-2. Sarah Willis with a 3-2 count against Morrow. We've got the Agbayani sisters coming up to the plate after this. Three-two. And then fouled off. Morrow does a nice job staying alive there.
Looking to fight for every opportunity. Morrow just continuing to chip away here deep into the count. Look at how she even kind of resets herself, trying to get a good swing off.
Katie Burge, by the way, in left field for the Knights here in the 7th. And that ball is hit to center, but playable. Rowe under it, makes the catch. Morrow's retired. 2 gone here in the 7th. And so now the last chance for BYU. Alea Akbayani steps in with her sister on deck. First pitch, the strike, it's 0-1. If you're Alea, what are you thinking here if you're Akbayani here? There's Katie Burge in left field, but what's your approach here?
You're just trying to chip away and pass the bat, give anybody else an opportunity that they can to just tack on as much as possible.
Swing and a miss. Easier said than done when Willis is throwing pitches like that.
And Sarah Willis is gassed up right now. She's going to go in the upper 60s, going to hit 70, 71. Under these Thursday night lights, too, it comes in definitely looking a bit more firm.
0-2 the count. Pitch outside to try to see if Akbayani would chase at that. She did not. And again, if she were to reach, extend this, her sister, Ailana, would hit. One-two. Got it foul. And of course, we've talked about so many storylines between these two teams. And here's one with Akbayani at the plate with her former hitting coach, Becca Mueller, on the UCF dugout. Both played, of course, with Akbayani was at Cal. Grad transfer here at the box. One-two in the dirt, 2-2.
And Sarah Willis, talk about momentum, shifting back and forth. Sarah Willis just absolutely flinging it in there right now. All the momentum going her way. She's so fired up about this game. It's been a great back and forth battle, Eric.
Amazing game. 2-2. Line foul. And pitch number 135 coming for Willis. And this crowd has been into it from pitch one. They're spread out, many in the stands, many in the left field, many in right field. They've watched a high marquee matchup here tonight on this Thursday night. 2-2. Got her! The strikeout for Willis ends it, and the Knights take game one, 3-2, the final. And the Knights take 15 overall. BYU drops to 21-14 overall, 4-9 in conference. Sarah Willis showing the heart of a pitcher and the competitor that she is, getting the strikeout here to end it.
Sarah Willis goes the distance, lights out all night long. A couple of big opportunities for BYU. They took advantage, but Sarah Willis in the circle responded so well. UCF offense had her back. They're fired up, getting game one